Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In this video, I'm going to show you how my day usually looks like in simulator training, and specifically if it's instrument flight, because previously, if you remember, if you have watched one of my video about simulator training, I've shown you a flight if it's conducted in visual flight for private pilot license. Right now, I'm going to show you how instrument flight would look like for an instrument rating. So stay tuned. So usually, before we begin the simulator training, me and my instructor will discuss about the route, the airports, the approach procedures, and also the departure procedures for the day. And I already picked 6 approaches usually for one day, and also 2 departure procedures. So if we begin school at 8 a.m. until 5 p.m., we will do 3 approaches and 1 departure procedure from 8 to 12. And then after that, we will do lunch break. And then after lunch break, we will do another 3 approach and 1 departure procedures for the rest of the day until 4 or 5 p.m. That's why in one day, we usually do approximately 6 approach procedures and also 2 departure procedures. And it's my job to explain to my instructor what is the route I already picked, what are the departure procedures, what are the approach procedures, the missed approach procedures, and etc. that I will do for the day. Because after all, I'm the pilot in command, right? So let's say like this. This is one of the routes that I have flown with my instructor for the simulator training for the instrument rating. And let's see what are the approaches and what are the airports that I have picked. So this is how the route will look like. And the first airport that I pick is L52. So L52 happens to be uncontrolled airport. That's why it doesn't have a tower, and it also doesn't have departure procedures. So we will take off visually. And then after L52, I pick Jetki. Jetki as the fix, and then to Foggles. So this is actually requiring more explanation on departure procedures and also approach procedures. Maybe we will talk about it on the next video. But what I'm going to show you on this video is basically an idea of how the route and how I pick approach procedures for one day. So I'm just gonna explain 1 approach procedures. So why do I pick Jetki as the next fix or the next point that I will fly after L52? That's because Jetki happens to be the initial approach fix for VUR Bravo to Foggles Muni Airport. And then after that, we will not land directly at Foggles. We will do a missed approach procedures. We will do this, missed approach procedures. After the missed approach procedures, we will do approach procedures for another airport, which is in this case, I pick Delano Muni, and so on and so forth. That also goes the same for the approach procedures for the next airport. So after Delano Muni, I pick Visalia. After Visalia, I pick Merced Regional. After Merced Regional, I pick Modesto City County. And then after that, I pick the last approach, which is the South Lake Tahoe. So in total, there are 6 approaches from L52 to KPRB, which is Foggles. And then after that, from Foggles, we will go to Delano Muni. And then after Delano Muni, we will go to Visalia. And then at Visalia, we will do landing here. And after Visalia, we will do a departure procedures at Visalia. After that, we will do approach to Merced. So KMER is the Merced Regional. And then after that, we'll go to Modesto. And then after Modesto will be the last approach, which is to Lake Tahoe. And yeah, those are a little bit explanations on the example of one of the route that I've flown with my instructor during the instrument rating simulator training. So yeah, I'll explain on the departure procedures and also approach procedures on the next video, because I know it's a little bit overwhelming if I explain it now. This is just me explaining the big picture of how the route will look like and how I pick the route for the simulator training. So usually I'll pick several airports. In this case, if it's 6 approach, then 7. So I'll pick 7 airports, and also 6 approach procedures in between, and also 2 departure procedures. And yeah, so after everything is set, I'm going to tune in all the frequency of communication and also frequency for navigational aid that I will use along the route. So this is what you are seeing right now. What I'm doing is putting all the frequency that I will need along the route, the closest frequency that I will need, and then yeah. But like the question is, how? Why do you put all of the frequencies you need even before you fly, even if you're still on the ground? Well, that's because I know if I prepare all of the frequencies that I will need, I will reduce workloads once I'm airborne. Because trust me, once you fly, once you are airborne up there, you have another workload to do. You have another things to pay attention to. So, well, why wouldn't you use all of the time that you have on the ground, plenty of time that you have on the ground, to prepare anything as best as you can in the most efficient way, so you can create a safe and prepared flight, right? Okay, after everything is set, let's fly. 60 rotate. Gentle, 80. Remember the 885. Turning to 307. Okay. Climb checklist, pitch to 80, power 4, fuel pump off, landing lights off. Stop. Climb checklist complete. 3,000, 2,000 feet to go. Wait up. Do you realize that I have been calling out altitudes whenever it changes, whenever it passes, how many altitudes more to go? That's what pilots do, regardless if they're flying with a co-pilot or if they're flying solo. That's for situational awareness, for pilots to more recognize what are they doing on the airplane, what situation are they in, because we might realize that we are on, let's say, 5,000 feet altitude, but if we say it out loud, our brain, ourselves, will be more aware of the stages or of the phases that we are in. So yeah, that's what pilots do all the time. Calling out altitudes, calling out checklist, seeing all the instruments, checking on everything. So what you are seeing right now is that I'm using glasses, but it's not just some regular glasses, it's called Foggles. This is what we use for pilots as a fuel-limiting device in a simulated IFR condition. So it's actually not IFR conditions, not instrument meteorological conditions, not IMC. That's why we're using a fuel-limiting device as what we called Foggles. So that way we can log an instrument flight time even though we actually fly in a VFR, because we're using a view-limiting device as what I am using right now. 5,000, Oakland San Francisco, Charlie 2,000, climbing to 5,000, okay. 693 Charlie, Oakland, radar contact, 4 miles southeast of Norway. Viewer, climbing maintain 5,000, mark time 5,690. Oakland Center, 690 Charlie, wait for request. 690 Charlie, Oakland Center, go ahead. Oakland Center, 690 Charlie, requesting UR Bravo, Tipa 17 Mini, via jet for Mississippi. 690 Charlie, fly direct to Norway, then proceed to jet. Fly direct to Norway, then proceed to jet. 690 4,300. So, leaning the mixture, meaning reducing the amount of mixture that flows into the engine. But why? Why do we need to lean the mixture? That's because, as we know, as airplanes go higher, as you go higher, air is less dense because there is less pressure there. And then we want 15 compared to 1 for air-fuel ratio. So 15 molecules of air needs 1 molecule of fuel. And because it's less dense, you want to lean, or another way of saying lean is you want to reduce the amount of fuel that goes into the engine in order for it to not become too rich and can be the cause of the engine to overheat. That's why you want to reduce the mixture. In this case, I am at 6,000, so I want to reduce the mixture because I'm above 3,500 feet. We're 0.9 knots. How about engine instruments? Engine instruments all green. Okay. Except the temperature. Although temperature it's a little bit lower than 100. We're going to do a viewer bravo approach to Foggles Mini at California. The vortex of Foggles Mini is 114.3. I already put it here in case I need it while needing this, but I already put it here as well. And the approach course will be 313. The run and landing is not applicable. So that is the glimpse of how my day looks like in instrument rating simulator training. Unfortunately, I don't really record the instrument approach procedures and also departure procedures for more detail, but I'll explain to you in the next video. So I hope you stay tuned and I hope you enjoy this video. Thank you so much for watching. Feel free to leave the comment below if you have any idea on what to do next. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you on the next video.